The rain fell in heavy sheets over the small gas station at the edge of town. Most people avoided the place after dark, but that night a quiet tension filled the air. The fluorescent lights flickered, the road was empty, and inside the station store, a frightened little boy stood near a shelf of snacks, his small hands trembling. His eyes darted to a tall man near the counter who was paying for a pack of cigarettes. The man's leather jacket carried a symbol that made many people step back in fear. It was the unmistakable emblem of the Hells Angels, but the boy did not step back, he stepped forward. Nobody noticed him except the security cameras, and the boy hoped someone out there, anyone, would understand what he was trying to say. With a shaky breath, he lifted his hand and touched his chin with his thumb, then stretched the hand out, one silent, desperate signal. It was the widely taught sign for help, and he pointed it straight at the biker. At first, Biker did not react. He simply collected his change, pocketed it, and turned toward the exit. But the boy repeated the gesture, this time more urgently. His eyes filled with tears. The biker's steps stopped. He turned his head slowly and looked at the boy again, really looked. And something cold and sharp flashed through his expression. Not anger at the boy, but at whatever lay behind that silent signal. The biker's name was Hawk, and Hawk did not ignore calls for help. He approached the boy calmly, crouched to the child's height, and lowered his voice. "You all right, little man?" he asked. The boy's tiny head shook. He glanced toward the back of the store, where a rough-looking man stood pretending to browse magazines, but his eyes tracked every movement the boy made. Hawk immediately understood. He had seen men like that. In every dark corner of every town he'd passed through, men who hunted the weak. Hawk stood slowly, locking eyes with the stranger. The tension in the room thickened. The cashier froze. The stranger clenched his fists, and the boy pressed himself behind Hawk's leg as though he had found the only safe place in the world. The stranger began walking forward. "Mind your business, old man. The kid is with me." Hawk's voice dropped to a low growl. "He's not going anywhere with you." What happened next unfolded too fast for anyone to process. The stranger lunged, reaching for the boy. Hawk blocked him with one arm and shoved him back with a force that sent him crashing into a rack of snacks. Chips flew everywhere. The cashier screamed. Hawk positioned himself in front of the boy, wide and unmoving like a steel wall. The man scrambled up and bolted out the door, sprinting toward a dented van that sat idling with the rear door slightly open. Hawk grabbed the boy's hand and rushed outside just in time to see the van speeding away with squealing tires. He quickly memorized the plate number. "Come on," Hawk said, lifting the boy safely onto his motorcycle before calling his club. "We're not letting them get far." Minutes later, the thunder of multiple bikes echoed through the streets. The Hells Angels arrived one by one, forming a protective circle around Hawk and the child. People who were watching from windows whispered among themselves, shocked at the sight. Most had only heard rumors about the Angels, dangerous, wild, untouchable. But what they saw that night was different. They saw a group of men with hardened faces and soft hearts, reacting instantly to save a child they didn't even know. The boy, named Oliver, finally found his voice when they gently asked him what happened. Between tears, he explained that the man from the store had been following him for 3 days, waiting for a moment when he was separated from his mother. He'd grabbed Oliver near the station's restroom, threatening him to stay silent. The boy remembered the help signal his teacher had shown in school, but he never imagined he would actually need it. "Not anymore," Hawk said firmly. "You're safe now." The Angels organized a search, while one of the members contacted the police. It took less than an hour before the van was cornered in a dead-end lot near the outskirts of town. Police officers arrived shortly after, but it was the presence of a dozen roaring bikes and the emotion-filled faces of the bikers that truly shook the kidnapper. He surrendered immediately. Oliver watched from the safety of Hawk's arms as the police took the man away in handcuffs. The relief that spread through the boy's small frame was visible, and he buried his face into Hawk's jacket. Hawk's tough expression softened, and he gently patted the boy's back, something he had not done for anyone since he lost his own son years ago. Later, Oliver's mother arrived at the police station frantic and shaking until she saw her son run toward her. She collapsed into sobs as she hugged him, thanking Hawk and the entire biker group repeatedly. She admitted she never expected help to come from the very people society warned her about. Hawk simply nodded and said, "Good men come in all kinds." The story spread through the town and then across social media. People could not believe it. The Hells Angels saving a child, responding faster than authorities, standing like guardians around a frightened little boy. It shocked everyone's assumption. People who had once crossed the street when bikers approached now saluted them with respect. As the sun rose the next morning, Hawk placed his helmet on Oliver's head as a playful goodbye, promising him that no matter where he went, there would always be someone watching over him. The boy hugged him tightly, a hug full of innocence, gratitude, and a silent understanding. Sometimes heroes do not wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear leather, ride roaring machines, and carry a past full of mistakes, but hearts full of courage. And sometimes the smallest hand signal from the smallest child can reveal the biggest truth. Help can come from the unlikeliest of places.